Breaking as we come on the air at 6 here on Alaska's News Source, the governor signs a state budget, finalizing funding for the upcoming year. Details ahead.
You ever see anything like this before?
No, not here in downtown in Anchorage.
And a bear down in downtown Anchorage today after Fish and Game had to step in and tranquilize it. What the agency says is happening next.
Coming up, we take you to the famous Brooks Falls here in Katmai National Park and Preserve.
Plus, the weather is putting on a summer show this week. I'll go over the forecast for Friday and the weekend.
You're watching Alaska's News Source.
The oil situation has deteriorated. The price of oil has gone down. Therefore, our revenue is going down. And basically, we don't have enough money to pay for all of our obligations.
Well, it's back to the drawing board for school districts across Alaska as the governor signs a state budget with significant cuts, including to education funding. This is on the heels of Governor Mike Dunleavy saying via his office today that sinking oil prices forced his hand, requiring reductions. Well, good evening. That finalized budget is now signed and major slashes to education funding are now solidified. Reporter Olivia Nordyke is standing by at an emergency meeting of the Anchorage School District. But first, we begin with the newest member of our team, political reporter Will Courtney, who's been tracking the changes in the budget. Will, what can you tell us as of now?
Yeah, John. The big headline, the governor has cut the $51 million education funding increase. That comes as districts across Alaska were nervous this could happen. They now face uncertain futures as the governor took the position not only are oil prices to blame, he also talked about lawmakers.
When we don't have the revenue to support the budgets that we receive from the legislature, we have to make some hard decisions. When we saw the revenue picture deteriorating this past spring, my administration actually reduced our ask in the budget by over $200 million.
That was part of a 2-minute video posted to social media before the total $122 million in-line item vetoes were announced. Dunleavy vetoed the education bill increasing the funding back in May. Then lawmakers overrode his veto. Just hours before the governor's announcement, Anchorage Republican Representative Mia Costello, who's the House Minority Leader, said she expected this to happen.
When the governor has that ability, he's really looking at the line item veto power, which is within the budget. So even though the bill passed with essentially the same amount of funding that was provided last year, he has the authority to go into the budget and determine the actual amount.
No governor, to my knowledge, has ever vetoed education funding below the base that's in the law. So my hope is that we will continue to do the policy work and the schools will get the resources, and they really are just the minimal resources they need to keep the doors open, the lights on, and teachers in front of the kids, aides helping those with special needs, doing the work for Alaska's future.
Now, that's Juneau Democratic Senator Jesse Keel. Will, any indication as to what's next?
Sure. I mean, there's some big news actually coming out of the interior. The cuts mean the Tanana School District will become dissolved and become part of the YK Delta School District. In the meantime, Anchorage Independent Representative Calvin Stragi is telling me earlier this afternoon it will be difficult to get lawmakers back to Juneau. So right now, to some lawmakers, some type of emergency session seems unlikely. John?
Well, Courtney, thank you very much. And at the Anchorage School District Education Center tonight is Olivia Nordyke. Olivia, we know an emergency meeting's happening like right about now. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, John, we learned of this meeting just shortly this afternoon after the governor posted that video online, but before the announcement came that the budget has already been signed. Now, Anchorage School District called this meeting to address the special, the only item on this agenda of this special meeting is to address the budget and the vetoes within it. Now, the school district will be live online for you to tune in at home, but I will be here keeping an eye on things, and I'll bring you the latest this evening on the late edition. John.
Olivia Nordyke, thank you very much. Well, happening right now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has struck nuclear targets in Iran and said that the military operation will continue for many days. He says the operation, called Rising Lion, is a targeted attack on Iran's nuclear program, which he called a threat to Israel's survival. This is file video of flares and projectiles lighting up night sky over the Gaza Strip. Israel has now closed its airspace until further notice, and a state of emergency has been declared. Israel's defense minister warning of potential retaliation that could include missile and drone attacks on Israeli citizens. Meanwhile, explosions have been reported in Tehran. In the lower 48, a judge is blocking the Trump administration from deploying members of the California National Guard to Los Angeles. That judge is now directing officials to return control of the Guard to the state's governor, Gavin Newsom. The Justice Department does have time to appeal. As of last check, the White House had not made a public comment on the ruling. Look for the full story on our website. And that sun warming up the city today felt real good. Meteorologist Jackie Purcell joins us now with a look at the forecast. Jackie?
It sure does feel good, and it's not just warming up the city, but many cities and towns and locations across the state of Alaska as high pressure builds through interior Alaska. You can see there's a few clouds out to the east that's associated with the storm system impacting panhandle locations, and a little bit of a haze out there. And that's going to probably make for a brilliant sunset. It's part of those fires that are out of Canada. So we have some high elevation haze that is kind of visible here in the south central area. 68 from the airport, winds out of the west at 7 miles per hour, but there's 70 showing up in Midtown, out toward Campbell Creek Science Center, 75 here in this last hour. Scattered showers into the interior. Boy, they are warm as well in Fairbanks this hour, 75 degrees, and winds just 6 miles per hour. And we're going to continue to watch high pressure continue to influence mainland locations. Wet weather stays to the west or impacts southeast Alaska, but it's going to be a dome of high pressure that impacts much of the interior locations as well as south central. Still looking for a 70-degree sunny day for Anchorage on our Friday. It could go to 82 degrees with sunshine in Fairbanks, staying at 55 with a chance of showers in Juneau and mostly cloudy skies into the Bethel area. I'll have more on the forecast. It's coming up a little bit later, but this run of sun expected to continue.
Run of sun. Jackie, thank you very much. Keep it going. All right, you can get the Alaska's Weather Source app for free. If you have a smartphone, go to your app store, search for it, get linked up to live updates straight from our meteorologists like Jackie Purcell right here at Alaska's News Source. Well, a bear padding around downtown Anchorage, causing some major commotion for both residents and visitors alike.
What's the saying of Anchorage? Big wildlife. So, yeah, you never know what you're going to see.
Big wildlife is right. Look at that. The black bear captured after being spotted roaming the streets this afternoon. Quinn White spoke with Fish and Game for the story.
Corey, tell me what was happening this morning with that black bear downtown.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had just a little yearling black bear that ended up getting himself into downtown Anchorage. And that's something that we have seen in the past where they come across, they get spooked by a car, and then it just kind of dominoes and they just keep getting pushed further Anchorage, and they just don't have a good, safe way to get out of that situation without running across roads or towards or around people.
Now, you were the one who darted the bear. Tell me about how that all went down.
Yeah, really it was a game of patience and waiting for the animal, reading the animal. Once I had a safe opportunity, we hit the animal with a sedation dart, and it took about 5 minutes or so, and that animal was sedated and we were able to safely handle it.
Now, where's the bear now?
Back in the woods where they should naturally be.
Do you guys just drop them off, or?
We do our best to get them out of town, away from people and roads, and let them go back to where they belong in the woods doing bear things.
Now, if I ever see a little black bear in downtown Anchorage, what do I do?
Yeah, especially anything in and around houses downtown. Folks can always reach out to the Anchorage Fish and Game office, give us a shout and let us know. A lot of times these resolve on themselves with the bears being able to get themselves out of the situation that they got themselves into. Sometimes they need a little bit of help because they just don't have a safe way to get out that doesn't involve risking their lives as well as the public's.
Well, Corey, that's all I've got for you. I appreciate you taking the time, and that was so wild to see this morning.
Fascinating stuff. That was Quinn White and Fish and Game's Corey Stantorf. There were reports of another bear possibly being downtown as well. We'll be catching up with Fish and Game about that in the coming days. And coming up next, our road tripping crew heads to Brooks Falls for a look at the famed feeding spot there. You're not going to want to miss it.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Well, there is a particular spot in Katmai National Park and Preserve. It's perhaps the most recognized area in the entire region. You know what we're talking about, the Brooks Falls viewing platform. Now, it's very early in the season, but Melissa Fry and Beth Verge stopped by, have a little look for themselves.
We're at Katmai National Park and Preserve, and we are on our way from Brooks Camp down into Brooks Falls. Starting at Brooks Camp, we are treated to majestic views for a little more than a mile. Crossing one bridge, over the river, and through the woods. We make our way to the famed falls where, for now, it's quiet. But later in the season, dozens of bears can be seen all at once from right here. A 6-foot-high waterfall creates a speed bump for salmon and the perfect perch for bears to feast. Here we are at the world-famous Brooks Falls. We're here in person. Rain's coming down, but it is stunning. No bears here yet this early in the season, but this is amazing. Again, we see this through the webcam. Obviously, I've never seen it in person, and it is stunning. Melissa Fry, Alaska's news source.
Absolutely stunning views right there. And you know what we're talking about with that Brooks Falls bear cam, right? We're going to be seeing a lot of it here, I'm sure, in the next month or so. All right, our road tripping series does continue this evening. What can humans eat at Brooks Camp? Melissa and Beth tell us tonight on the late edition. And coming up.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.